Okay, we begin here today in child's pose. Welcome yourself to the yoga mat. Welcome yourself to this time for you and your practice. Our December mantra, sit, stay, heal. Just breathe into that for a moment. Stay right here. And then start to crawl your fingers out a little further in front. Make the forearms, elbows, upper arm bones lift towards the sky. Let your head lift away from the mat so that your ears are hovering right in line with your upper arm bones. Gently crawl the fingertips over towards the right side. Have a little more stretch and reach along the left fingertips back towards the left hip. And then walk the hands across the center on over to the second side. Same thing, a little more reach from the right hand and pull back towards the right hip. And then come into the center. Rise to all fours. Place your hands under the shoulders, outer shoulder distance apart, knees hip distance apart under the hips. And do cat and cow. Let the spine move back and forth, up and down here. I always see this first cat and cow as an opportunity to check in. How are you feeling? And let that check-in help to kind of mold and shift the practice. Where do you need to place attention today to create a little more ease and opening? Where do you need to place attention to see the strengthening and stability in the body? All in good balance, right? And then from cat and cow, do downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Stretch through the spine, through your legs. Feel free to pedal the feet here. Let the head shake. Look forward to the hands, bend your knees, and just walk forward. Nice and slow, walk up to the top end of the yoga mat. Ragdoll pose. Have some bend in your knees, hold on to your elbows, sway a little bit from side to side. Try to get that release and length through the spine. Relax the head, relax your breath. Let it be. And then slowly roll on up to standing. As you roll up, shoulders up and back a couple of times. Shoulders forward and down a couple of times. Inhale, lift the arms up to the sky. Get right into this full body flow. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half lift. Extend from the hips out to the crown of the head. Step back to plank position. Top of our push-up here. Squeeze the heels, the glutes in. Look a little forward of the hands to keep the long length of the spine. And then nice and slow, lower flat down against your mat. Cobra, curl the chest up. Keep the elbows bent and squeeze them in towards the sides of the body. And then change to downward facing dog. Breathe here. Next, inhale, look in between the hands and make your way forward. Step, jump, or walk each time. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up, reach the arms to the sky. Bring palms together, center of the chest. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank. Lower flat down against your mat. Curl the chest up for cobra. Transition to downward facing dog. And this transition to dog can be in one movement or take a few. I often go through all fours or even spend a whole breath or two in child's pose before getting here to downward facing dog. It's up to you. And next breath here. Look forward in between the hands and take your time to step, jump, or walk forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Stand up, reach to the sky. And take palms together, center of the chest. Do it one more time. Sun salutation, A. Lift the arms. Exhale, fold over. Half lift, hands can go all the way up to the thighs to give you lots of space, or stay a little lower for more stretch in the back of the legs. And then step back to plank. We lower down to the mat. Peel the chest up for cobra. And downward facing dog, hips up and back. Stay in downward facing dog for several breaths. Next, inhale, look to the hands and move forward. Inhale again, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stand up, reach the arms to the sky. Bring palms together, center of the chest. Pause here, take 2 breaths. And from Sun Salutation A, we'll move into Sun Salutation B. It starts with chair pose. If you like feet together, a little closer together. Here we are. Bend the knees, sit into your thighs. Chair pose. Utkatasana. And then exhale, forward fold. Straighten the legs, fold over. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step back to plank. And lower down to the mat. Peel the chest up for cobra. Switch to downward facing dog, hips high. Keep going here. Step the right foot forward to a low lunge. Spin the back heel down, 2 flat feet. Lift your torso and lift the arms, warrior 1. Take a breath in, warrior 1. And then lower the hands, step back to plank. If this vinyasa flow down to the mat, lifting the chest for cobra is getting a little repetitive, doesn't feel great in the body, just hold plank or down dog in between each side here. It's finding how it works in our own body. Step the left foot forward, right heel down. Warrior 1, lift the torso, lift the arms. Square the shoulders, the chest towards the front short side of your yoga mat. Press down and out through your feet. Lower the hands back down. Here we're in plank pose. You have the choice to hold or to keep moving down. Lift the chest. Everyone in down dog. And this is our longer pause in dog pose. Always like to think of it like home base. You're here, you check in. How's the breath? How's the body? How's the balance? And we move along. Look forward to the hands. Step or jump to the front of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Utkatasana is chair pose. Bend the knees, sit into the thighs, lift the arms, lift the chest. Stand all the way up. Palms together, center of the chest. Go again, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Keep moving. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank. Lower down to the mat. Lift the chest for cobra. Downward facing dog. Lift the hips up and back. Step the right foot forward. Low lunge. Spin the back heel down. Come up. Warrior one. Right away now, lower the hands back down. Step back to plank. Down to the mat. Lift the chest for cobra. Downward facing dog, hips high. Second side, step the left foot forward. Spin the right heel down, lift up, warrior one. Half a breath. Exhale, lower the hands down. Step back to plank. Lower it, lift the chest. Downward facing dog. You're here for several breaths. And that's the beauty of the sun salutation. We have this time, if you're going faster or slower than the group, my instructions, you have the time right here to find your home. Okay, look to the hands, step or jump all the way up to the front of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stand up, lift the arms to the sky. And bring palms together, center of the chest. We did 3 sun salutation A. We'll go through 3 of B as well. So that means 1 more. Off and running. Here we are. Bend the knees, sit into the thighs. Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold is Uttanasana. Ardha Uttanasana, half lift. Step back, lower down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Pull the chest forward and through, Bhujangasana. And Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Step the right foot forward, Virabhadrasana Eka, warrior one. Lower the hands, step back. Continue the flow. Second side, left foot forward. Virabhadrasana of one. And lower the hands. Step back. 1 more low push-up into the lift of the chest. Downward facing dog. Take this dog pose a little bit longer, a little bit wider in the feet. Enjoy the space. And look forward. Step or jump to the front end of the mat. Half lift. Forward fold. Last chair pose right there. Stand up, palms to the center. Close the eyes or take your gaze low. Really observe the heat in the body, the lift of the heart rate. 10 minutes of movement on the mat. How does it feel? Let's keep adding on here. Lift the arms up to the sky. Exhale and fold. Keep the right foot forward and step your left foot back into our low lunge. Spin the back heel down, interlace the hands behind your back. Drop your head down towards the ground and lift your arms up to the sky in no-handed lunge. Try to sit your right hip back towards the left side so that the hips and shoulders stay pretty square towards that front edge of the yoga mat. And then release the hands on either side of the front foot. Lift your back heel, pause here for a moment in low lunge. And then we'll go back and forth a little bit. Straighten the right leg and bend the right knee. Back and forth. Lift the hips and lower. Straighten and bend. No wrong way to do this. Just create a little bit of a rock in this lunge position. Stay with right knee bent, hips lifted enough that you can make the back leg straight and solid. And then lift the right arm up to the sky, revolved lunge. Lower the right fingertips down to the mat, step the left foot forward. Switch sides, keep left foot forward and step your right foot back. We start with that no-handed lunge, so spin the back heel down. Push enough weight into the back leg that you know that you can keep yourself upright without the use of the hands. And then interlace the hands, maybe even squeeze the palms together. Gives a little bit more strengthening to the pose. As the arms go straighter, send the head down low. Lift the arms up. So again here, if I'm not thinking about it, maybe you're like me, all of the weight goes into the front foot and my butt kind of sticks out towards the long side of the yoga mat. I want to try to cartwheel the shoulders and head more towards the front short side of the mat. And at the same time, I'm pulling the left hip back towards the right side. And I can get a good stretch to the IT band when I do that, outer left thigh. Okay, we're gonna release the hands. Lift the back heel up, hold in your low lunge for a moment. And then that dynamic movement, so moving with stretch. Bend and straighten the front leg, back and forth. Lift and lower the hips as you do so. We'll stay with the left knee bent. And then take the left hand up, revolved lunge. Nice. Lower the left hand down. Step the back foot forward. Take both hands to the hips, point the elbows to the sky, press down into your feet and come all the way up to standing. Stretch the arms overhead just because it feels good. Lift, lift, lift. And then bring the palms together, center of the chest. Take your right foot onto your left leg for tree pose. You can be on your calf or a little higher up on the thigh, whichever suits. Press the foot into the leg into the foot. And today, take your arms straight out in front of you. Squeeze the core strong. Keeping that, can you slide your foot over so that it's on the opposite side of your leg in that figure 4 shape? Maybe get it up above the knee. Now, sit down into the legs, chair pose with that lifted leg. Sit, 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 low, low, low. One more breath like this. Stand back up, back to tree pose. Place the foot to the inside of the leg and lower it down. Release. Okay, so a little control, really using our balance here as we move through these poses. Take the other leg, left foot onto the right leg, and you can stay low, go a little bit higher knowing where you're gonna go. Arms straight out in front to manage our balance today. Push the leg into the foot into the leg. You want to keep that feeling of the leg pushing into the foot, but cross the foot over to the outside edge of the leg. Keep broadening in the hip, and now sit into it. I always imagine that I'm holding on to like a fence or a tree stump or something here that I can sit down lower. Keep pulling the body weight back into the standing heel. And then move with the balance, come back upright. Shift the foot back to tree pose. Vrikasana. And lower the leg down, shake out. Good. One more time, lift the arms up to the sky. Cross the right ankle over the left thigh and sit down into the legs. This time, hold on to your knee and foot and stand up. Pick up the leg with you. Lift the chest as tall as you can. Push down through your standing foot. Now, can you curl the chest forward and drop the forearms underneath your shin? Try to make your chest and your lower leg touch one another. The lower part of your lifted leg, I should say. And then keeping that connection as much as you can, stand back up again in the torso. Lift the torso more vertical. It won't go all the way. I'm going to guess it's not going to go all the way, but the work is there. Take the hands out, hold on to your foot and knee. Stand fully vertical again. And now kick your right leg straight back behind you. Bend the standing leg and take the torso more forward. Warrior 3 with arms back. Fully square in the hips, maybe even flex the back foot and point the toes down to the floor to know that you've got it there. One more breath like this, and then stand on 2 feet. Inhale, lift both arms up to the sky. Do it on the second side. Cross the left ankle over the right thigh. Sit down into the legs. Pick up your foot and stand back upright. Make your chest as high as you can here, fully up and down, head, shoulders, hips, feet, much as possible. Good. And then change the grip, forearms underneath the calf. Flex the lifted foot a lot so that it's not sickling. And then can you stand back up even just a little bit more in the chest? This is where we get that spotlight in the outer hip. Great big bit of progress as we do this week by week this month. Come back upright, hold easier on the leg. And then bring the hands to the waist and kick the left leg straight back behind you. Warrior 3 with a bent standing leg. So bend the right leg as you kick your left leg straight back behind you. Make like a T shape in the body. We're going elevated locust position. And that's just hands back, palms up to the sky. So you imagine that you're in one of those belly down back bends, floating in the air here. Stamp your left foot beside the right. Inhale, sweep both arms all the way up to the sky. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank. Lower flat down to your yoga mat. Peel the chest up for cobra. All the way up and back to downward facing dog. Friends, from down dog, let's lift our right leg up into the air, 3-legged dog. And step it all the way forward in between your hands for low lunge. Spin the back heel down, warrior two. So now open up towards the long edge of your yoga mat and extend the arms in either direction. Push a lot through the back foot and then take your gaze over the front fingertips. Warrior two. Shoulders, hips stacked, but gaze towards the front. Triangle pose, straighten the front leg, hinge at the hip, and take the right hand down to your leg or the floor, top arm up to the sky. Try to open across the hips and shoulders. Feel as though you're almost leaning backwards here. Inhale, come back upright. Exhale, rebend the front knee. And then lower the hands on either side of the front foot. Pick up the back heel. One more pose on this side, pyramid pose. Jump the back foot in about a foot, so a little shorter stride. And then can you make both legs straight? Pop the hands up to the hips to make that easier. Make the torso from hip to head almost parallel to the ground. Can you get your hips square and reach towards a straight line? And then maybe even past parallel, sending the head down towards your shin. And really reach head towards shin or ankle, so you keep the long length of the torso rather than trying to aim towards your knee. Hands stay at the waist so that we infuse a little bit more balance and integrity in the muscular form. Come all the way upright in the torso. Take a little bend in both knees and step the left foot forward. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank. Lower down to your mat. Lots of flow interwoven in the practice today. I was missing it. Downward dog, hips high. Lift the left leg up, three-legged dog. And step it all the way through in between your hands. Once you find that full range of your lunge, then go to warrior two. Spin the back heel down. Build your torso upright. Face the long edge of your mat. Extend the arms in either direction. Keep the right shoulder drawn back over the right hip, even as you look out ahead of the left fingertips. Maybe go a little lower in the left thigh, but not at the expense of taking the torso with you. Try to keep that back shoulder, back hip in alignment. And now we change. Straighten the left leg. Do reach as far as you can to the left. Then left hand down. I like to hold my shin, top arm up to the sky. One more breath. And then inhale, come back upright. Bend the front knee, cartwheel the hands down around the front leg. Pick up the back heel, low lunge. From low lunge, pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. So we take a little shorter stance. Line up about heel to heel as you push the back heel down. Hands to the waist. Lift the torso enough that you can straighten the front leg. And you might lift almost upright to start with. And then with the hands at the point of the hips, try to square things back towards the front and take the torso towards parallel to the mat, like an equal sign. And then maybe a little bit lower, giving a good steady stretch through the hamstrings, the front calf. Find your strength by squeezing the inner thighs in towards each other. Feel a little lift in the base of the pelvic floor the entire way. all of that awareness. The real key to the practice, not how we put ourselves in these shapes, how it feels and the greater awareness that comes as we do so. Lift back upright, take a little bend in both knees, step it forward. Inhale, lift the arms up to the sky. Let's go back down, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank. Hold right here in plank pose. Stare down at your hands. Make sure to spread all 10 fingers nice and wide. Yeah? And then just ever so lightly, I want you to rock forward and a little back. So it's the change in my feet. I'm trying to keep everything else pretty darn stable. Rock the shoulders just forward of the line of the wrist, and then push the heels back to come back. Do it one more time. Rock forward and back, and then find your neutral position. Lower your right knee down to the floor. Lift your left leg up. Can you kick your left heel towards your seat? Like a scorpion tail here. Lift your left knee higher up so that your toes are like the little stinger. And push, push, push towards the sky. Okay, I'm gonna move my right hand a little forward, a little out to the side, so I know I have more ease and balance. Try that, because we're taking our left hand up. Yes, your weight moves a little up and off to the right. And then can you take your left hand and hold on to your left foot? Think dancer pose here. Lift, lift, lift your left leg as high as you can. And the left knee likes to open and go out to the side. I want you to try to keep it clamped down towards the floor, and it's the foot that lifts up. And then release. Lower the hand. Lower your knee. Now with the hands still outer hip distance apart, staying quite lifted, do little circles of the hips, slightly forward, slightly back, so that it gives you a change in weight and pressure in your hands. And then circle in the opposite direction. Yes, we're still putting weight on the hands and knees. But this circling, I want it to be more like a relief in between sides. Okay, neutral. And then lift the right knee up and back. Bend the right knee. And try to point your toes. And then lift, lift, lift your right thigh higher up. Do those little bitty pulses. Again, like the scorpion tail, stinging straight up. Knowing we've got to get our right arm off of the ground, take the left hand maybe a little more forward, a little more out to the side to help with that switch and balance. Take the right hand out. And then reach back, hold on to your right foot. Don't let the knee open up to the side. Try to point it straight down to the floor. And at the same time, lift your right foot higher towards the sky. And release. Come back down to all fours. Sit back on your heels so that you can totally relax your wrists and circle them around. Any kind of good wrist relief that feels good to you. Shouldn't be too much of a surprise that we're going to stand up and give this a go. So stand up on your mat. I'm going to face the short side of my mat just because it's easiest to think for me of squaring the hips and shoulders, so probably do the same. Lift both arms up to the sky. Recreate that all fours position, but standing now. So we'll kick the right heel towards our seat. Without the use of the hands, lift your right thigh a little bit higher up and back. And now, can you take your right hand and hold on from the outside of your right foot? I've got thumb down, pinky finger closest to my pinky toe. Lean a little forward in the chest and lift the right leg higher up towards the sky. If you bend the left knee and hinge so far forward that you're almost chest parallel to the ground, torso parallel to the ground, you can really start to see that all fours shape. And then come back up to standing, 2 feet on the ground. I'm going to watch. You get to do the second side. Both arms up to the sky first. Give yourself the length and stretch through the front side of the body. Then kick the left heel towards your seat. Lift the left leg. Do the work of the leg first. Lift, lift, lift through the thigh. Now, reach the left hand back. Hold on to your left foot. And with the hand, lift the leg even a little higher up, and you can take your torso more forward and down. Even go so far forward that you feel almost shoulder and hip in the same alignment with one another. Great work, friends. Come all the way back up, release, give it a good little shake. Let's stand at the front of our mat. Last big full sun salutation. Lift the arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Step it back to plank. Lower down to the mat. Peel the chest up for cobra. Downward facing dog. We're adding on a little bit here. It's that same shape that we just made 2 times in a row. Now we make it 3 times in a row. Go to side plank. Right hand, outer edge of the right foot. Stack your feet. Lift the left arm up to the sky. First ask, step the left foot behind you. Still 2 feet on the mat. And use the left foot to push down into the mat and keep lifting your hips a little bit higher. Gaze down at your right hand. It'll make this easier. Now, can you kick your left heel towards your seat? Good there. Try taking your left hand back to your left foot. Good there. Push your foot into the hand to broaden out the torso. Everyone go back to downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Lower down to the mat. Cobra. Downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. Let's try Kapinjalasana on the last side. Hooray for that. Left hand, outer edge of the left foot. Stack your feet for a moment and lift your right arm up to the sky. Here's a bus stop. You could stay right there. Second stop, step the right foot behind you. Mine is off of the yoga mat right now. And then look a little up to the sky and push the hips up to the sky. Okay, I know I've got more balance work, so I'm going to look back down. And then try to lift the right foot off of the ground. Even just like little lifts up and down. Kind of training ourselves. If the foot can stay up, can the right hand reach back? Reach without holding or reach and hold. If you're holding, push back more. You've got this, yogis. Go back to downward facing dog. Nice work. Lower the knees. Flip your palms up as you sit back in child's pose. Clear the breath. Soften the face to a smile for the good work of practice. And then pull yourself upright, sit back on the heels, take a little twist to the right, and a twist to the left. Have a full seat on your mat and stretch your legs straight out in front of you. Just a couple little things here. Take the right foot like you're in tree pose. Point the right knee out to the side, left foot straight ahead. And then cross it over, ankle over your thigh. This was our standing balance work that we did earlier. Hold on to your foot and try to lift it away from the lower leg. And you can add any different hold, forearms or elbows. And you're seated, pigeon pose. Walk the hands back out. Lower the leg and all the way down. Little shake. Second side, take the left foot against your right inner thigh. Here, try to square the hips and sit up tall. That's sort of the prep of the pose, right? So we've got to feel good here. And then we move it along. Foot up and over the thigh. Still trying to get the knee out towards the side. Flex the left foot, spread your toes here. Don't let the foot sickle in. Not always a bad thing, but for this pose, we want to keep it as strong and engaged as possible as we lift the left foot away from the right leg. And this is a lot of ask in the hips and the flexibility of the spine, and so we have a tendency to want to fall back and roll back. Try to keep the leg lower if that happens, and your chest more upright. Change the way that you're holding the leg as possible for a couple of breaths. And then take it back down, all the way down, both legs out. Seated forward fold, let this one feel good. Maybe a little bend in the knees, round the spine, anything that works. Hold on to the ground, your legs or your feet. And then shift to lie down onto your back. Pull both knees into the chest as you do so. Nice full squeeze. Full gratitude for the work to move our bodies in these different shapes. Shape shift to state shift. It really does work. Start the day from a shifted place of ease and yet power. Relax the legs down, the arms down. Give yourself a full minute of release and stillness here in Shavasana. Lest we fall back asleep. Bring attention back to breath and body together. And make your way back to a seated position. Gather palms together, thumbs to the sternum, and Anjali Mudra, our gesture of intention. Let the good intention of this practice really seep through the rest of the day. And one way to hold that transition is through the sound of Om. Please sing along, listen, or tune me out. Let's do it. Empty out the breath. Take a deep breath in. From the light within me, I bow to that same gracious light within each of you. Namaste. All right, friends, thanks